Good morning, WGBR News Talk 1150. This is your Thursday edition of Newsmakers. Carol Bowden here with my friend, fellow Wolfpacker, Kevin Johnson.
Good morning.
Good morning. He is the County Extension Director for the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Office here in Wayne County. I said that all right, didn't I?
That was good. That was excellent.
That's not bad for early morning. Kevin, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me in.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We've got a lot to talk about, both locally, things that are going on. We've got an event tonight, just got lots of meetings, and agriculture being so strong in Wayne County, but I threw one at you this morning, and we're going to talk about a subject that's really bothering me, and I don't think that people are yet taking it as seriously as they need to, and I don't think that our government has been as forthcoming in information that they needed to be.
Yeah, probably not.
So let me tell everyone what we are talking about, and this is the huge recall, and it's Rancho Feeding Corporation out of Petaluma, California. They have shut down the plant now, but from January 1st of 2013, so over a year ago, through January 7th of this year, they process diseased and essentially beef carcasses unfit for human consumption. It's called the Food Safety Inspection Service under the USDA has now come out and said that it's a Class 1 recall. It's as high as it gets. It's a health risk, a high health risk, because it subsequently could lead to serious health issues or death. And you're talking about what they called adulterated food.
Yuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so 9 million pounds of beef. Now, this is not that you would go to the grocery store and find a steak. We're talking about processed beef products that go into Hot Pockets, beef jerky. We don't even know all the products yet. Nestle's the only one that's come out. They're the makers of Nestle USA, makers of Hot Pockets. So they've come out with their own recall. This is hitting stores like Walmart, Kroger, pretty much every major grocery food chain, as well as your smaller ones, every major retailer that involves food markets and processed beef products. This is going to be far-reaching, and it scares me that people are not taking it seriously enough, and yet they don't really know how serious to take it because we don't have a list, and the FSIS has said we don't have a list either.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. With processed beef, you're looking at a lot of products. I mean, it's basically a cheaper source of protein and beef. I can tell you, I hope this is an isolated incident that's happened at this one facility.
Right.
You know, which is still far-reaching, could stretch all the way across America. But we're hoping that it is isolated to this one facility. Why inspections did not get this earlier, I don't know. These things happen from time to time, but people need to be aware. Which the news is picking up on it now, so I think the American population is going to start hearing about this and be very concerned. America's very proud to have a very safe food supply, but from time to time you have events that happen like this, and it is very scary.
It is, and there are a lot of questions because obviously it was done without what they're saying a full inspection, it being the processing of this beef. So you wonder where the inspections failed within a year's time.
Yeah, I cannot answer what's happened here. You know, I'm sure that this one facility, somehow or another they got through the inspections process. They may have figured something out. And I'm sure they didn't mean any harm, but, if things aren't inspected properly, bad things can happen. Generally speaking, on a global standpoint, I do feel like we have the safest food supply, but you're going to have isolated events that happen. But it's important that the public know about this.
Yes, and when you talk about almost 9 million pounds of beef that are processed into products to use for like Hot Pockets, that's just a minimal amount going into that individual Hot Pocket, just an ounce or so of this product.
Yeah, it is. But when you're dealing with some of these strains of bacteria, it doesn't take but a little bit to get into your body and you can have problems. Of course, I don't know all the details on this. I don't know if you reach a certain temperature while cooking these products, if it would kill it. I don't know. But, if it's in something like beef jerky, you're not going to heat that up.
Exactly.
But you would think it would go through some kind of heat process while they're producing it, and maybe it would kill a lot of the products. But if they're coming out with this kind of alert, there's some concern.
Agreed.
And I'm glad that somebody has stepped up and made this call. to remove these products.
I would urge everyone to stay on top of this, research it on the internet, make certain that we know, because as soon as we find out, we being here at WGBR and Goldsboro Daily News, it's going to go on our website and we're going to talk about it in the news. But the unknown, the uncertainty right now, you're talking about animals that were diseased and unfit for human consumption, and that's now in our food sources throughout America, and it's a little scary.
It is scary. Generally speaking, I can tell you most of the facilities do not accept this. It's a big deal not to take any kind of diseased or sickly, poor health animals. Generally speaking, most of our beef, pork, any type of meat products, they look for quality. They need quality because they want to stay in business. They want to continue to have a good product so people will continue to buy it. Like I say, this is an isolated event. It's sad, but I'm glad that somebody has stepped up and made this recall.
You and me both. So that's all we're going to talk about that this morning. Just want to make sure that everybody stays aware and stays on top of this. Let's talk about more pleasant things and things going on, because you've got a great event tonight involving our youth.
Yes.
And a wonderful operation called the Community Soup Kitchen.
Yeah, of course, our 4-H goes through our office. 4-H is one of the outstanding youth organizations in America. We have a large program here, but one event we have that's actually occurring tonight at 6:30 at the Wayne Center is called the Super Bowl. Well, you hear that and you think, wow, Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's already been. Seattle won that. No, this is actually soup, as in soup that you eat. And the 4-Hers are collecting soup at 6:30 at the Wayne Center. And, of course, everything they collect they're going to give to the local soup kitchens. Giving back to the community. That's part of what we teach our youth. We want to give them the life skills, but we want them to have the character to know that we want to give back to our community.
Well, and as harsh a winters we've had already with the ice and the snow, and Dorisha and her staff down there do an outstanding job year-round, but in the winter it's got to be harder to keep those people fed and warm.
It is. It's been a very brutal winter. I'm just going to say brutal. I can't recall a winter like this where we've had this much snow and ice, where it's been this cold, got down in single digit. And yes, you want to make sure that the community has food. We live in America where we've already spoke about having all this food. We hope it's safe food. But we want to make sure that everyone can eat and not be hungry.
Without a doubt, and it's a very, very important thing. We love the Soup Kitchen and do an event for them each year, and it's a struggle when they're feeding upwards of 130 people a day.
Day, exactly.
All right, we're going to have to take a break in just a moment here. I want to talk a little bit more about that when we come back to find out how the public can help. WGBR News Time is 8:47. We'll be right back after these messages. WGBR News Talk 1150. Good morning, it's 8:50, and this is your Thursday edition of Newsmakers. Thank you so much for joining me and Mr. Kevin Johnson.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. And he is the County Extension Director for the Cooperative Extension Office here in Wayne County. But he covers so much more than that. He's a busy man.
We try to help the citizens of Wayne County.
Well, you do a great job with that. Want to talk real quick. When we left before the break, we were discussing the 4-H event tonight, which is the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Not the football kind, but the actual soup kind. And that is to benefit the Community Soup Kitchen. Can the public drop off cans of soup tonight?
I would think so.
Okay.
Of course, we want to do whatever we can to help the soup kitchen and the community. So, we're advertising this throughout 4-H, and we're hoping that the youth will get involved and either make homemade soup, whatever they can bring in. But if the community wants to stop by the Wayne Center, located on the corner of George and Chestnut Street, please come by, bring some soup. But yeah, it's going to end up at the soup kitchen.
Fantastic. So. I think everybody can easily afford to drop off a couple of cans of soup and help them out. So
I think so.
That'd be a great thing. So what else is happening in Wayne County in terms of agriculture?
Well, in the last couple of days, temperatures got a little warmer. Everybody's feeling like, spring's around the corner. I'm afraid that it's going to get cold again. But anyway, it does let you know that spring it's on the horizon. It's going to be coming along soon. In the world of agriculture right now, our tobacco farmers are actually seeding their greenhouses. They've been seeding them for the past couple of weeks. So plants are going in, or the seed are going in the greenhouse. And so, that's exciting. A lot of people always ask me, well, what is this green grass that's growing out in the fields? It's actually wheat. Winter wheat. And so within the next couple of weeks, our farmers will be fertilizing that. And, of course, in within a month or two, it'll start growing and elongating. And then by the time they harvest it in June, it'll look like what everybody expects in the field, But so things are happening with that, with our farmers. There's a lot going on.
Let me ask you this. How has the winter weather affected such things like the winter wheat?
It's all the rainfall has really created some problems for us. We really should have been going out putting these fertilizer applications on several weeks ago. And, of course, every time it rains, it just makes it difficult to get on these fields with equipment. So it's delayed us. And, but this has happened before. We'll make it work. Was talking to a large group of farmers yesterday, and they're hoping that we'll get a break from the rain, sleet, snow, all those different products or precipitation. But hopefully soon we'll be putting that out. And, of course, it's been really cold, too. A lot of the old-timers used to say that cold weather helped reduce the insects. Mm-hmm. I got bit by some mosquitoes yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it'll help with the insects, but
it didn't help with that.
It didn't help with the mosquitoes, exactly. So
well, and I tell you, with all the water that's sitting around, that is a problem.
Yes. And mosquitoes. I mean, they can handle the cold weather. I mean, it's a well-known fact that there's a lot of mosquitoes in Canada and Alaska. So I think they can handle North Carolina's climate. And so, we will always deal with insects. But you're right, standing water, especially mosquitoes, will be a problem. So as it warms up, especially. So, but like we have a corn and soybean meeting today at 10. Just in another hour or so, we'll be having a meeting for our farmers, and of course, they'll be learning a lot of stuff about production and management for those crops. So we're excited about that, and we're ready for spring and ready to start planting some more crops.
Well, tell me this. Do you know approximately how much acreage we have in winter wheat right now?
Yeah, generally speaking, we're one of the larger producing counties. We will have somewhere between 35 and 40,000 acres of wheat.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of winter wheat here. And, of course, most of it will end up as feed for our livestock.
Right.
And anything we can do to put local grain into our livestock feed is a good thing. That way it's not coming in from the Midwest. And of course, that's a cost benefit for our livestock integrators.
Well, and it does nothing more than just stimulate the local economy.
Exactly. So we're excited, and hopefully we'll have a good crop. And I've had a lot of people saying, "Well, it's been real cold and wet, and I'm worried we're going to have a hot, dry summer." You just don't ever know. We'll see what happens, but we're very blessed to be in the climate that we have, the soils that we have, and agriculture is a thriving industry in Wayne County.
Yes, it is. And there's one guarantee, though. If we continue with this wet weather, we're going to have a green and then a very yellow spring, because that pollen is going to be flying.
It really is. And that's one thing folks that have allergies are not looking forward to. But yeah, it's right around the corner. Within a couple months, I've already seen where some daffodils are starting to break the ground. So spring is coming.
Now, do you believe in the whole groundhog thing and the 6 more weeks of winter?
I don't know. No, not really. I can't say that. That's.
Do you lean more towards the Farmer's Almanac?
I think the Farmer's Almanac has done a good job, and of course, a lot of that stuff is based on some old traditions and stuff. And according to the Farmer's Almanac, we're supposed to have some wintry weather next week.
That's what I've heard as well, and they kind of nailed the first 2. So
yeah.
Maybe they won't have a great record, and we'll just lose that one.
We do have one more, a little funny bit. Tyler Whaley, our crops agent, has had 2 he's tried to have 2 pesticide education classes. Both of them were snowed out.
Oh my goodness!
He has another one on March the 5th. So if tradition keeps on going like it has, we may have snow on March the 5th.
Oh.
So
Well, you know, that would kind of fall into that 2-week category. That another Southern folklore is that when you have thunder in the wintertime, you have snow to follow within a 10-day or 2-week period.
Exactly. And, you know, we'd had extended amounts of thunder night before last. You know, that was a long thunderstorm. And, and yes, my grandparents used to talk about that. So there's a strong possibility of some wintry weather coming up. Unfortunately.
You know, Kevin, I could have taken anything. But typically, when do we start seeing spring around here? A solid spring.
Solid spring. You're talking about April. You know, the last frost date, generally speaking, for our area is the middle of April
right.
15th. So I would tell folks, don't get too excited until 1st of April. You'll get some good weather. You still could have some cold nights, but we still have another good month of winter, I would tell you. Yeah.
I think you're right too, and I just hope that it's a little kinder than it has been. And I know all the school kids and school administrators and their staff are really hoping we don't have any
more.
more.
They have missed a lot of school, and I know that they are struggling with that to get the days in. And I wish them the best and hope they don't have to deal with any more. Because I know my daughter stays at home, of course, when we don't have school, and she's like, oh, I'm so tired of this. You know, snow's pretty for about, 20, 30 minutes, eat some snow cream, you get tired of it, and you go out and play, sled, and then you're like, okay, I'm ready for it to go. Yeah, I'm done. You know, where's 80 degrees at?
Spoken like a true man, and a true Southern man at that. I love it. Well, we're coming close to the end of our time. If you've just happened to tune in, we're talking to Kevin Johnson. He is the County Extension Director for the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Office. And tonight, 4-H Super Bowl, and that's where they're collecting soup or bringing soup for the Community Soup Kitchen.
Yes.
So if you're out and about,
stop by the Wayne Center and bring some soup.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for our Thursday edition of Newsmakers. Thank you so much for joining us. Kevin Johnson, thank you as always.
Thank you. I enjoy coming in.
I'm looking forward to you returning. And do me a favor. Go